Welcome, dear viewers, to another episode of Catholic Bits, where we delve into the depths of Catholic theology. Today, we embark on a fascinating journey as we explore one of the most profound questions that has puzzled humanity for centuries: the existence of God. Join me as we draw upon the wisdom of St. Thomas Aquinas, the Scriptures, and the Church Fathers to shed light on this age-old inquiry. In his monumental work, the Summa Theologiae, St. Thomas Aquinas presents 5 arguments for the existence of God. Let's briefly explore each of these arguments, supported by scriptural texts and insights from the Church Fathers. St. Thomas' first argument is the argument for motion. He observes that everything in the world is in a constant state of motion or change. But what sets these motions in motion? St. Thomas reminds us that for every motion, there must be a prime mover. This first mover, the unmoved mover, is what we understand to be God. As the psalmist declares in Psalm 121 verse 2, "My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth." The Church Fathers, such as St. Augustine, also emphasize that God is the source of all motion and change. St. Thomas' second argument is the argument from efficient causes. He highlights that everything we encounter in the world has a cause. However, this chain of causes cannot regress infinitely. There must be a first cause, an uncaused cause, from which all other causes flow. This first cause is none other than God, the Alpha and Omega, as mentioned in Revelation 22 verse 13. The Church Fathers, like St. Justin Martyr, affirm that God is the ultimate cause and sustainer of all things. St. Thomas' third argument is the argument from possibility and necessity. He contends that some things in the universe are contingent, meaning they can exist or not exist. Yet, if everything were contingent, there would have been a time when nothing existed. But we exist, so there must be something necessary that brings forth the contingent beings. This necessary being, the source of all existence, is God. As St. Paul writes in Colossians 1 verse 17, "In him, all things hold together." The Church Fathers, such as St. Irenaeus, taught that God is the necessary foundation of all that exists. St. Thomas' fourth argument is the argument from gradation of being. He observes that things in the world possess varying degrees of perfection, beauty, and goodness. However, to understand these degrees, there must be an ultimate standard of perfection by which all other things are measured. St. Thomas argues that this standard is God Himself, the source of all perfection. As the psalmist declares in Psalm 36 verse 9, "For with you is the fountain of life, in your light, we see light." The Church Fathers, like St. Athanasius, affirmed that God is the fullness of perfection and beauty. Finally, St. Thomas presents the fifth argument, the argument from design. He notes the intricate order and purpose evident in the natural world. From the complex laws of physics to the remarkable intricacy of living organisms, everything seems to be finely tuned and directed towards a particular end. St. Thomas argues that such design implies the existence of an intelligent and purposeful Creator. As the Book of Wisdom reminds us in Wisdom 13 verse 5, "For from the greatness and beauty of created things comes a corresponding perception of their Creator." The Church Fathers, such as St. Basil the Great, celebrated the harmony and wisdom displayed in God's creation. With these additional arguments, St. Thomas Aquinas invites us to contemplate the splendor of God's creation and recognize the fingerprints of the divine artist. Through the gradation of being and the intricate design we encounter, we are led to the logical conclusion that God, the source of all goodness, beauty, and purpose, exists. Thank you for your patience as we explored the 5 arguments for the existence of God by St. Thomas Aquinas. May these reflections deepen your faith and inspire you to seek a closer relationship with our loving Creator.